The sun rose over the endless blue sea, its golden rays reflecting on the rippling waves. Near the shore, an old fisherman sat in a small wooden boat, his fishing net drifting in the water. He cast his net, waiting patiently. Hours passed, but he caught nothing, not even a single fish. His stomach grumbled, and he sighed. No fish today. What will I tell my wife? Just as he was about to return home empty-handed, his net suddenly tightened. Something big and strong struggled beneath the surface. The fisherman pulled with all his might. His arms ached, his boat rocked, but finally, he pulled the net in. And what he saw made his eyes widen in shock. A huge golden fish lay in his net, its scales shimmering like precious gems. But what happened next was even more unbelievable. The fish spoke. "Please, kind fisherman," the fish pleaded, its voice gentle. "Let me go, and I will grant you one wish in return." The fisherman stared in disbelief. A talking fish? A wish? Could this be real? He hesitated, then, deciding it was better to show kindness, he gently lowered the fish back into the water. "Go, little one," he said. "I do not need a wish. I am happy with what I have." The golden fish dipped beneath the waves, its eyes twinkling. "You have a kind heart, fisherman. But if you ever need me, just call my name and I will come." And with that, the fish disappeared into the depths of the sea. The fisherman rowed home, thinking nothing more of the encounter. But when he told his wife about what had happened, everything changed. The fisherman stepped into his small, humble cottage and found his wife stirring a thin soup over the fire. The house was bare, with only a wooden table, 2 chairs, and a leaky roof that let in the cold wind. His wife, a sharp-eyed woman with a restless spirit, turned to him, hands on her hips. "Where is the fish?" she demanded. "Did you bring anything home?" The fisherman lowered his head. "I caught a fish, but I let it go. It was magical. It spoke to me and offered a wish, but I refused. I was happy with what we have." His wife gasped in disbelief. "A magic fish? A wish? And you let it go?" Her voice rose with frustration. "How could you be so foolish? Look around you. We have nothing." The fisherman sighed. "But we have each other. Is that not enough?" His wife shook her head. "No. If the fish offered a wish, then ask for something useful. At least a proper house." She grabbed his arm and pushed him toward the door. "Go back to the sea and call for the fish. Ask for a new house." The fisherman reluctantly trudged back to the shore. The waves crashed against the rocks, the sky darkening. He took a deep breath and called out, "Oh, magic fish of the sea, come to me." For a moment, there was silence. Then, suddenly, the waves glowed golden, and the fish rose from the water, its shimmering scales dazzling in the light. "You have returned, kind fisherman," the fish said. "What do you wish for?" The fisherman hesitated. "My wife, she wishes for a new house." The fish's eyes gleamed mysteriously. "Go home, fisherman. Your wish is granted." Before the fisherman could respond, the fish vanished into the waves. Feeling uneasy, he hurried back home, only to stop in shock. Where their old shack had been, now stood a beautiful little cottage with white walls, a thatched roof, and a warm chimney. His wife stood at the doorway, her eyes wide with delight. "It worked," she cried. "Oh, it's wonderful." The fisherman smiled, relieved. "Now we shall be happy." But deep inside, something felt off. Would this truly be enough? Or would his wife want more? For a few days, the fisherman's wife was overjoyed with their new cottage. But soon, she began to complain. "This house is too small," she grumbled, crossing her arms. "A noble lady like me deserves a grand palace." The fisherman sighed. "But we have so much more than before. Can't we just be happy?" His wife scoffed. "Happy? In this tiny house? Go back to that fish and tell it I want a castle." The fisherman's heart sank. But knowing he couldn't change her mind, he returned to the stormy sea and called out, "Oh, magic fish of the sea, come to me." Once again, the waves glowed gold, and the fish rose from the depths. "What does your wife wish for now?" the fish asked, its voice calm but unreadable. The fisherman hesitated. She wants a castle." The fish was silent for a moment. Then, with a flick of its tail, it said, "Go home. It is done." The fisherman hurried back and gasped. The small cottage was gone. In its place stood a towering castle with golden gates, tall windows, and servants running about. His wife stood on the balcony, dressed in fine silk, a crown upon her head. "It worked," she laughed. "I am a queen." The fisherman shook his head. Something felt terribly wrong. Would this finally be enough? Or would she demand even more? For a while, the fisherman's wife was thrilled with her grand castle. Servants bowed to her, feasts were held in her honor, and riches filled the halls. But still it wasn't enough. One morning, she turned to her husband with a sharp glare. "This castle is too small for me. I should not just be a queen." She leaned forward, her voice filled with hunger. "I should be the ruler of the world. The fish must make me the most powerful being, greater than any king or queen." The fisherman's blood ran cold. "The ruler of the world?" he stammered. "Wife, please, this is madness. We have everything we need." But she slammed her fist on the table. "Go to the fish. Tell it what I demand." The fisherman's heart ached. His hands trembled as he walked to the darkening shore. The once clear waters were now black and stormy, the waves crashing violently. Taking a deep breath, he called out, "Oh, magic fish of the sea, come to me." This time, the water did not glow gold. Instead, the sky darkened further, and the fish slowly rose, its eyes gleaming with sadness. "What does she want now?" the fish asked. The fisherman hesitated, then whispered, "She wants to rule over everything." The fish stared for a long moment. Then, with a final flick of its tail, it said, "Go home. You will find your answer." The fisherman turned and ran, fear gripping his heart. But when he reached home, his breath caught in his throat. The castle was gone. His wife was gone. In their place stood the same tiny, broken shack they had started with. His wife sat on the ground, her fine clothes replaced with rags. Her face was pale, her hands trembling. She looked up at him, tears in her eyes. "What happened?" she whispered. The fisherman sighed. "We had everything, but we wanted too much." And from that day forward, they lived in their small shack, learning the greatest lesson of all. Moral of the story: greed leads to downfall. Be grateful for what you have, or you may lose everything. Like, share, and subscribe for more magical stories that teach powerful life lessons. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an adventure.